The US economy has been going a bad direction, and the world economy isn't really looking much better. Recent news over in Japan as they try to curb issues that may be affecting their economy and have been permeating in their economy for years have recently been enacted, and now people are concerned that this may negatively impact the global economy even more. Christian H. Cooper on Twitter writes, "You will hear about this tomorrow," that being today. Bank of Japan basically broke the world tonight. A minor policy tweak has huge implications that will take weeks to play out. Bank of Japan was the last low-yield holdout, and now that changes. Spike in rates, stock lower for weeks, and chaos. Maddie asking, can you please explain why such a small country can have this big of an impact? Is it partly because Japan owns the most US treasuries? Christian responding saying, Japan made the policy choice to keep rates artificially low, has for decades. If rates are artificially low, I can borrow cheap in yen and trade somewhere else for excess return. If money is free, I can take risks cheaper. Tonight, that reversed. So all those risky assets are plummeting, he basically says with the emoji. We've also got an article from The Economist. The Bank of Japan shocks investors. Since 2016, the Bank of Japan has intervened in bond markets to keep the 10-year bond yield at around 0%, a policy known as yield curve control. Technically, the bank permitted fluctuations of 1/4 percentage point around the 0% goal. Now the Bank of Japan will allow moves of 0.5 percentage point around 0. After the announcement, the 10-year bond yield surged from 0.25% to 0.4%, its biggest daily shift since 2003. Japan's benchmark interest rate of negative 0.1%, yes, negative 0.1%, has not been moved in almost 7 years, and the bank owns over half of the government bond market. The chasm between the policies of Japan and those in the rest of the rich world caused the yen to plunge by 23% against the dollar from the start of 2022 to mid-October. After the announcement, the dollar fell by 3.4% against the yen, but the Japanese currency remains at its weakest level in 2 decades. Japanese financial markets could be in for a turbulent 2023. Some articles are saying that this news will help the US, and some are saying that it will hurt the US, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. I'm just going to be keeping an eye out for any media or any countries that try to blame Japan for their entire economy going bad. Like, there's some merit to say that this may be bad for economies, but the fact of the matter is many countries, their associated economies have not been doing well for a while, probably way before this policy was changed. So like I said, we'll have to see how this all really plays out in real time. But if you want to look more into this on your own, you know where to find it. It's all over the news. This video should give you a general idea of what's going on. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the comments.